Good afternoon, everybody. This is Brad Etlin. I'm here with my guest today, Michael Weiner. He is the president of Harvest Wine Tours. This is Chicagoans at Home Talkin' Shop. Great to have you, Michael. How are
Nice to
you?
be here. I am excellent. Thanks for the invite.
Excellent. Great to have you. Have a couple fun questions for you before we get into your wine tour business, if you don't mind.
I don't mind at all. Go ahead.
Let's start off with where you're from. I'm assuming you're a Chicagoan, but
I am born and raised here in Chicago. Actually grew up in Rogers Park and went to Field Grammar School, Sullivan High School. Then went off to college at U of I, came back, migrated to a few of the suburbs, and now back in the city, living on the north end of the city in North Park.
okay, sweet.
Yeah.
What do you do for fun in COVID times and in non-COVID times?
Probably my number one pastime was golf. Took it up about 30 years ago. Still trying to get proficient at it. It's an ever changing, ever learning game. Fortunately, there was a small shutdown time due to COVID, but pretty much it's a naturally socially distanced game in that if you get on your own cart, you're rarely within 6 feet of anyone once you're out on the course, except on the tee boxes and sometimes on the greens.
Can I ask what your handicap is?
My backswing.
Okay. Okay.
If I could perfect my backswing, everything would get better. I'd probably play to about a 15 or an 18 handicap.
All right, pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, I can get around the course, but I'm not going on the senior tour anytime soon.
Okay. Okay. And what are you watching on TV? Anything fun on Netflix?
You know what? I am a Netflix subscriber, and I barely ever turn it on. Unfortunately, with all the craziness of this last year plus, I have just watched way too much CNN. So I try to break away from it and get to an occasional sitcom reruns of what should I the I used to remember it. Everybody Loves Raymond, or Big Bang Theory, or things like that. Just take my mind off of what's going on CNN.
Were you ever a fan of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
You know, I've watched it. I was never a big fan.
Okay. I asked because they had a reunion program, which was really, it was so great.
Oh, okay.
Brought back all those childhood memories. So
funny.
All right. So let's talk about some wine if we could.
Sure.
So I know you are you're a CPA, but on the more probably exciting side of things for you, you host some wine tours. So tell me a little bit about Harvest Wine Tours. You're the president of the company. How did that get started?
It actually grew out of the fact that I first visited Napa back in 1999. And on my very first trip, I was smitten with the wine country. I just thought it was beautiful and so much fun to visit. But I realized, although I did do a little bit of research getting ready for that trip, after I drove through the wine country and saw just how many wineries there were, I knew I had to do much greater research. And so for my very next trip, I started reading about wineries and trying to find some incredible wineries to visit. And since that time, I've been back to the wine country about a dozen times, and I have now visited over 250 different wineries. And on a trip with a friend, she was very impressed with the days I had designed for us and the wineries that we visited. And she even asked how I found these little boutique wineries, and I told her. And then she asked me, she said, would you ever do this for a living? And I said, what, create tours? I said, I would love to do that for a living, especially in my retirement. And so I went home and started thinking about it and realized, geez, moving to Napa and becoming a tour guide and going up against the big tour companies of Napa would be very challenging. So I decided right then to start a small tour company and start to meet the wineries and develop a small tour business that I then might be able to retire to someday. And that's how Harvest Wine Tours was born.
Okay, so how many years in the making is this?
Oh my, so like I said, first trip was in 99. I probably formed Harvest about 10, 12 years ago.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So seems like tours to the Napa, Sonoma area, there must be a million wineries at your disposal. How do you kind of cherry pick the ones that work for your clients?
Yeah, that is, first off, your first statement is very true. If you have you ever been to Napa yourself?
Yeah, I have.
So you know there's a Highway 29 on the west and Silverado Trail on the east and crossroads between, and you can't throw a stick and not hit a winery. And so it's there's a lot of wineries. It's easy to go visit them, but choosing the ones to visit is more difficult. And so, as I said, on my very next trip to Napa, I started doing research. When I go out there, I try to visit 3 to 5 wineries in a day, 3 to 4 days. So I research probably 20 to 30 wineries in order to find 10 to 20 that I want to visit. Okay. And I narrow it down, trying to find ones that have the best ambiance, the best wine. And if they intrigue me, then I go to them. And so I will read up on wineries. For me, it's a passion. I'll read up on wineries even when I'm not going to the wine country now. And so where it used to be, I would spend all this time researching it and designing my 3, 4 day trip. Now I'm literally keeping a running list of wineries that I want to visit. And so I will, my list right now has probably got about 35 wineries on it. And I will get to visit whichever ones of those I can on my next several trips in the hopes of finding 1 or 2 incredible wineries that I can add to future tours.
And do you tailor your trips based on the wine preferences of that client group?
Absolutely. If you go to the website, you'll see we have ready-made tours and custom tours. And just to give you a little insight into the difference. So sometimes someone will like reach out to me and go, hey, I'm in Napa. Where should I go? And so I designed ready-made tours. That's one that people can download in an instant and go out on a tour that day if they want. If they're going in a week, they can download a ready-made and use it when they go. So there's no expiration to it, but it's more simplified. And it will visit some of the larger wineries, ones that I find to be interesting, because they can go there without an appointment. Now, under COVID, that's changed. Most places are all by appointment now. But at least it gives you a fighting chance of getting to a winery that can take you on short notice. Okay. When the time allows, like if you said to me, hey, I'm thinking about going in March, what do I need to do? Well, then I send a questionnaire, about 12 questions, so I can find out what's important to you. What kind of wine do you like? What wineries have you visited because you've been there before? What did you like about them? What would you like to visit your next time? I want to find out what your budget is for tasting fees. You know, it used to be in Napa when I first went back in '99. Tasting fees were very low. Some were free. But now with Napa and Sonoma being a major tourist destination, now they all charge larger fees because it's become more of a profit center and they have to offset the cost of all this wine they're giving away. They used to rely on you buying wine from them. They can't rely on that anymore. So I have to know your budget. I have to know what are you prepared to spend for the day. As some of the wineries that I use, very nice, beautiful ambiance, great wine. They can be $50 a person for a tasting fee. Mm-hmm. So if you're 2 people, 3 or 4 wineries in a day, that can get pretty pricey. Right. Some people have the budget for that, others don't. So I have to design the tour to fit for them, not only in what they want to see, but also what they want to spend. And so that's why my custom tours take a bit of effort, and the people have to fill out that questionnaire for me first so that I can figure out where to send them.
And are you like physically on site with these clients? And is it
absolutely not
like one group or is it multiple groups merged?
No, it's always small. I don't work with, I shouldn't say I don't work with groups. I've done groups. I actually had one corporation that got a hold of me and we had to split their tours into 2 groups. One were the big wine people and they were going there to find wine to buy. And the others were just going for a day of drinking. And so sure. I had to choose totally different wineries for each of the 2 groups and a way to get there. So I have done that, but I generally do tours for 2 to 4 people. Okay. And I am absolutely not with them. If you go to the website, they're called do-it-yourself tours because that's what they are. I give you the itinerary. I tell you how to do it. I give you a plan to follow, but it's totally flexible. You can add a winery. If you're passing one you want to see, stop in, go ahead. If you run out of time, you can drop one out. My tours are very, very flexible in that regards, so that if you're at a winery and having a great time, it's not like, oh my God, we got to get on the bus. Okay. Hang out, enjoy it. That's what it's all about. Okay. But so that's why they're smaller in nature, and I am not there. That would be too costly. You want to fly me out to Napa for your next trip? I'll be happy to put together a killer tour for us.
Fair.
most people don't want to do that since I'm here
Fair.
in Chicago. Now,
Right.
if I ever do retire to Napa, then yes, then I would become a
Not
driver
if,
tour operator.
not if, when you retire to
There you
Napa.
go.
Half glass full. Okay, so tell me a little bit more. Like, there seems there'd be a lot of information out there about winery tours, a lot of information free on the web. What kind of differentiates you from that other sea of information?
Okay, so let's talk two different things. First off, the sea of information about the wineries that's out there and prevalent on the internet, and then the tour companies. So let me just tell you right off the bat, everything that I know about wineries can be found. All right, I found them, so other people can as well. I will tell you, I have gone to wineries, and when I've gotten there, they ask me, "How did you find us?" Because they don't market. I went to one winery where they had a lock on their chain link fence, and I had to have a special code to open it, and they asked me to please lock it behind me because they don't like unexpected company. So that's the kind of places I love to find, are the little off the beaten path ones. Um, so that the information is out there, but people can take advantage of my experience, because not only have I already found them, I visited them. So you could go and do the research, and you could end up at some very average to okay wineries. I know, because I've been to them. All right. But by using me, you hopefully eliminate that and only focus in on the best of the best. Okay. As far as the tour companies, yes, those can be found easily. Anybody who watches this, if they're interested in a tour company and they want to check in with me, I'm happy to let them know what I know about other tour companies. But most of the other tour companies are more static. They use given wineries over and over and over. All right, you just pay them, you join them for their tour, and like I said, you're on the clock, you're on the bus, you're off the bus. Not a bad way to see the wine country. I like the more personalized approach, where you get to meet owners of wineries and winemakers, and a little more personal tasting than going to the tasting bar with 20 other people.
One of the things I believe truly sets you apart as well is the fact that you're not getting kickbacks from these wineries. You're truly providing your personal, informed information about what's good and what's not as good, right?
Yeah, and many times when I call a winery, that's the first thing they ask me, or they tell me. We do not pay tour companies for sending us clients or customers. And I go, that's fine, because I'm not looking for any compensation, which always surprises them.
Okay.
Some tour guides get compensated by way of wine. All right. I have never asked a winery for a bottle of wine for sending them a customer. I send people to them because I love their wines. I love their winery.
Okay. Good stuff. Very interesting. Thank you so
Thanks.
much.
Oh, my pleasure. I always love talking wine and wineries anytime you want.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't?
And by the way, just to let anybody who does watch this, I'm happy to help people that don't use me. Okay. If somebody's going to the wine country, I've had people send me a list of the wineries that they're planning to visit, and I will go through that. Strangely enough, I've visited most of the ones that are usually on their list. It's a rarity that they hit me with a winery I've never heard of or haven't been to. But I'm happy to help people, even if they don't need my services, because I love talking about wineries that much. I'll tell them which ones I liked and why. So anyone's welcome to call me. My phone number is at the website, harvestwinetours.com, and they can call whenever it's good for them.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Now I have a couple of questions for you.
Great.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
First, quick, true or false? All realtors are the same.
All realtors are not the same. If you're looking for someone who's going to provide you with good information, who's going to give you honest, straightforward information about your purchase or your sale, I'm your guy. One of the things that sets me apart and why clients come back to me is because I'm down to earth. I'm honest. I know what I'm talking about. And I'm also a very strong communicator, which is important in a very complicated transaction, such as the purchase or sale of a home. I want my clients at every stage of the way to understand what's next, what is the process, what do I have to do to ensure that this transaction closes as planned. That's me. I'm on the phone. I'm proactively reaching out to my clients at all phases, from from the point of budgeting for your home to getting pre-approved to submitting your offer on the buy side, and everything along the journey until close. Because quite frankly, there are a lot of steps on the road between your financial, your pre-approval and your financing and actually closing on the deal. There are a lot of steps. And I'm always upfront about that with my clients. My job is to coach you along the way, to truly be your partner, to walk with you until the end of that transaction and beyond.
Great. To the other side, you talked about buying there. What about on the selling side? What are some of the pitfalls to avoid when hoping to sell your home?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the major benefits of having a real estate broker involved is it's bringing in someone like me who can talk to you in a very honest and forthcoming manner to tell you what we need to do together to prepare your home for a sale. Selling your home is a very emotional experience, whether people like to accept that or not. It is. People get attached to their homes. Um, the promise that you have from me is that I will always tell you and be completely honest with you, and tell you in a non-patronizing manner what we need to do to maximize the value of your home before we put it on the market. Um, it's in my interest to get you maximum dollar for your home, even when the market is hot. There's still things that we can do. Sometimes minor, sometimes a little bit of an investment is required, such as painting or minor landscaping. But I'm always going to be forthcoming in showing you what we need to do together to prepare your home to maximize the value that it's worth.
Back to the buying side,
Yeah.
market is kind of crazy right now. Everybody's rushing out to the suburbs, get away from the city. Is this a good time to be buying in the city?
It really is. To your point, there's really an exodus of people. There's the people in the high rises downtown who, don't want to be in an elevator with a bunch of people, but need to use the elevator to, go in and out of their building. We got those people that are just, frightened to be living in high rises. Those same people are also many of them are feeling claustrophobic because they're not going to the office anymore. They're at home all the time, work and non-work. And excuse me, they need more space. So I see definitely a trend of people moving from high-rise condos to single-family homes or townhomes in the city. That's definitely a rapidly growing trend that I've seen this year. And then you have the folks that are moving from single-family homes to single-family homes in the suburbs. That's also a very, very strong trend. If you want to get into the market, it's actually into the market in the city. You want to upgrade, it's a great time because again, people are leaving,
Mhm.
and that really creates an opportunity.
So now for somebody like myself, who lives alone, if I'm thinking about buying and I could buy either a condo or a single family home,
Yeah.
do you have a recommendation? Is one the better investment right now? Assuming that I'm happy to live in either one, which would you suggest has the greater upside right now in this market?
Sure. So regardless of COVID or no COVID situations, my first question um, for a buyer is about lifestyle. Are you assuming things are normal and you're back to your normal work schedule? Are you traveling a lot? Do you have the time to be mowing a lawn? Do you have time to fix a toilet if there's an issue? It's all really all comes down to lifestyle. Some people want everything, white glove service. They want to live in a building with amenities and security and repair folks, and that just makes sense for some people because they're just not around. And if there's a problem, there's no one to take care of it. It's not cost effective to live that way. For other people that are, home based and, need more space and are able to avoid the HOA, the condo association fees, that makes more sense.
And it's funny when you said that, do you have the time to be mowing the lawn? Whether I have the time or not, I'm using a landscaper because I don't like mowing the lawn. And
Right.
personally, I haven't ever fixed the toilet, whether it's in my condo or my single family home. That's why they
Right.
have
Right.
plumbers. Yeah.
Right. No, exactly. So it
Yeah.
depends on your lifestyle. And what you said also makes me want to clarify that, there's a cost of maintaining any property, whether it's a condo or a single family home. Someone has to maintain something. It's
Mhm.
really a question of, are you willing and able to pay someone as part of an HOA fee to do that for you? Or are you paying someone directly, like a landscaper, to do it for you? Or are you gonna spend your own time? That's another cost in handling those day-to-day maintenance issues.
My last question for you is all about you. Why pick you as my realtor?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's literally tens of thousands of realtors that anyone has access to. Why work with me? You're not a number. It sounds cliche, but it's absolutely true. And anyone that has worked with me will testify um, to that exactly. Every client to me is, absolute gets absolute white glove treatment. I'm knowledgeable. I'm on top of everything. There's no questions. There's no waiting. Every step of the way, you know exactly what to expect. I'm completely accessible all times of day. I know what I'm talking about. And I'm also fun. People have fun with me. They value my knowledge. They value my service, my communications, but we also have a good time together.
Awesome.
So thank you so much for your questions. I really appreciate it. And I loved learning about your wine tour business. I have many more questions for you, but in the sake of time, I think we can cut here. But if you'll come back sometime, I'd love to have you back again, Michael.
Oh, I would love to come back. I've enjoyed spending this time with you.
Likewise. Thank you so much. Again, this is Brad Etlin. I'm a realtor with Kale Realty and a mortgage loan officer with PRMG. Today, my guest was Michael Weiner of Harvest Wine Tours. This is Chicagoans at home, talking shop, and hope you have a great holiday, Michael.
Thanks. You too.
Thank you so much.